always a pleasure speaking with you. It's funny. I always look at it now that when I see you, it is coming up to the end of summer, but entertainment is going to be going through the
Right.
roof because, of course, you were involved with TIFF. For folks who don't know who you are, sir, please explain your position because what you do and what you present during TIFF, I've always said it's the jewel of the festival. It is the hidden gem that people should and will go check out because there's always something amazing to see with what
Oh,
you put together.
thanks so much, Rudy. I mean, your support means like so much to me, and it's really great every year. I mean, I'm sad that I represent the end of summer because that's kind of a that's a sad thing in little ways. But I'm happy to represent the other stuff. But yeah, no, it's great. And again, we're back. It's I'm here to support. I guess I'm got two portfolios this year, but the main remains Shortcuts, which is TIFF's showcase of short film and really the place where TIFF is discovering and audiences are discovering like such an incredible array of new talent every year. And like it's been so gratifying to be in this role and to see filmmakers who I've been thrilled to showcase and present before coming back to the festival again and again with more shorts, with features, just to be kind of part of that. I mean, to feel like this is kind of like where it all kind of begins for these filmmakers and their voices and their visions. It's been thrilling, and I think it's another year where I have a bunch of great new talents to show off and show shortcuts, and then these filmmakers are back with features, and they're making continue to make great work. So I'm happy to be in that place.
Let's talk about this category. What is a short film? What makes a short film?
So a short film is for TIFF and for many festivals, and this is the case because this is what the Academy deems the upper time limit for their shorts categories, is 40 minutes. So basically anywhere from, I guess really you can take it down to about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I'm trying to think of the shortest film that I've seriously considered for the program. Certainly I've seen great stuff in the sort of 1 to 2 minute range. But it's hard, it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to make a great 40-minute film, and it's maybe harder to make a great 1 minute long film.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's the range of work. And when you do get kind of every conceivable style within that, really kind of hard hitting documentaries, broad comedies, animations of all kinds. I mean, hybrids. I mean, there's quite a few films in the program this year where it's like there's elements of documentary and fiction and also animation. So it gets really mixed up. There's just really kind of a world of possibilities that you can do even with a limited time span.
One of the things I've noticed over the years is the animation has really expanded. Why do you think that is?
I think certainly the animation category is always popular. Certainly there's always big work, but I think, one thing during the pandemic when it was very hard to be on a movie set and to make a movie like that, I mean, certainly there were plenty of animators I know who stayed hard at work. I mean, it sort of tends to be kind of isolating, solitary work in the first place. It requires a certain diligence and maybe a certain personality, but and I think that's, I mean, but what's amazing to me is just we get so much different kinds of stuff. I mean, certainly, stuff that might be like kind of 3D animation, like what you might see from a sort of Pixar type film, is stuff that's more as like stop motion and very much sort of handmade. And this year we've got stuff that I've kind of never seen before. Like there's one from Czech animator Daria Koscheva, who had an Oscar nomination a few years ago with a film called Daughter. She's got one called Electra, which is just this crazy, unbelievable sort of array of sort of techniques at once. I'm also really thrilled to be presenting the first real kind of African anime I've seen or encountered before. Film from Cameroon called Mboa Matanda, which is like stunning and really is like this kind of fusion of sort of Japanese, sort of classic Japanese sort of anime action and African, storytelling and African themes by an African team. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's great. We kind of make these sort of discoveries, and it's great to sort of show, I guess, this like, this massive array of sort of work that's possible.
So how is it broken up? I've always seen it as, like you said, there's anime, there's documentary, all these things. But also for me, Canadian, I always like to look for the Canadians. So why don't we start off with that? And what are they're all great, but what are some of the Canadian gems that we should be looking out for?
Well, one thing that's always great for us is when we can sort of be able to present, work by a Shortcuts alumni who had made a great feature, made more than one great feature, and then comes back to shorts and kind of knocks it out of the park again. This year, we're thrilled to have really the first new sort of new kind of self-penned film by Jasmine Mazafari in some years, and she was at the festival last with this debut feature Firecrackers, which was itself a sort of expansion of a short that she'd done by the same name. But she's
Remember
back.
that?
Yeah, and it's like, and again, she's a hugely talented filmmaker, and so she's back with a film called Motherland, which really kind of tells the story of her parents meeting and the sort of tensions around what was going on with her, with a sort of story of a a young man from Iran in America, kind of trying to meet his fiance's parents, just as America is enraged by the hostage crisis in Iran, the revolution. So this is the kind of backdrop for this sort of personal drama, and it's an amazing film.
I saw it. And yes, it's extremely intense. And they should, and folks who see this, take a look at the faces of some of the actors. You may recognize them from other projects and things like that too. So yeah, absolutely. A very, very intense film.
That's a great one. Another one, which is another sort of a great anchor piece for us, is actually the kind of a more of a comedy drama, really funny, really frank. One from Quebec called Making Babies, and this is by the writer director. It was also the star of the film, or one of the stars of the film, Eric Bouillon. And it's just, and we do get a lot of films about. Actually, this year we got quite a few films sort of on parenthood themes, motherhood themes, pregnancy themes. I mean, all the sort of anxieties around different parts of that experience, and this one's a terrific sort of two-hander about a couple who are have decided they're going to sort of try to procreate and see what happens when they add a pregnancy to the mix in their relationship. But this kind of causes, as it can happen, immense disruption and chaos within their relationship, which is portrayed in a way that's got a lot of humor, a lot of heart, a lot of poignance, but like it's just a knockout piece, and it's a real testament to this. Both performers, but also Bouillon, who's been at the festival with other films that he's written and co-written, but I think this is the first time we've had him as a director and as a star. So I think that's one I think is going to be have a big impact on audience too.
What about documentaries? What can you throw me out one that we should be keeping an eye out on?
Well, one and another team has been very successful with shorts, and I think they've had a couple of feature-length works now too. Yvette Lucas and Patrick Bresnan from the States. They have a new one called The Passing, which I believe they made for the New Yorker and the Guardian as sort of a commission documentary. But and they do these really terrific stories from their region of the U.S., which is principally Austin and Texas, and really it's this beautiful story of that just sort of follows around this veterinarian who's kind of this sort of shaggy guy who's very, very sweet and doing some house calls, and this sort of culminates in a really extraordinary thing, extraordinary event that will it is perhaps the ultimate tearjerker in the program this year, but really beautiful, and I think a real testament to that kind of really kind of humanist documentary filmmaking that we love so much, and also the kind of observational style or character studies that we often sort of find for documentaries too. And we got certainly many of those. Oh, and I want to mention the other one, of course, another documentary standout is a new one from the NFB, who we get, had so many great docs and animations from over the year. And this one has a self-explanatory title of Modern Goose. Oh, it is in fact. Really, again, a sort of study, except it's a character study, but it's of Canada geese. But it becomes this really kind of profound sort of look at, what it is what the experience is for all these animals, especially animals that we, have this sort of special, veneration for, attachment to, what kind of conditions do we create for them, in our cities. And you really do get a look at sort of what it is to be a modern goose.
That's interesting. Oh my goodness, that is so interesting. What would you say is one of your favorites that you saw that you were just wowed by?
I think that like one thing we're really excited about is just the boldness. I mean, and wildness of a lot of the movies we had this year. I mean, we really kind of had this bounty of films that we like, myself and my programming partner Sonia Baxa, just that we were like knocked out by and totally surprised by. And one of them is actually ironically by like being one of the most prominent people, although the director in question is a first-time director, and this is the actor Mackenzie Davis, who people might know from Blade Runner 2049 or Station 11, or tons and tons of a great series that she's been on, and show and movies as well. But so this is her first effort as a director, and it's called Wawaka, or I'm not sure if it's an acronym. We haven't quite figured that out, but you'll understand when you see the movie, and it is like just this sort of brilliant satire about kind of a universal theme of kind of our various battles against the effects of aging. But it really is just something that was stunning, and with somebody, it's great when you have somebody who we already love as a performer, when they sort of take a stab at directing and they kill it. So it's something we're really psyched about presenting too.
So looking forward to all these films. So how do we get to see Shortcuts? How does it work for us?
Well, I believe you head to that TIFF website. We will the link will be somewhere. And yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, and again, like we got 2 screenings of each of the 6 Shortcuts programs, 42 films in all, and they're really, that I think one thing I was again really grateful for is the feel of those audiences and the feel in those rooms, because you get a lot of especially a lot of audience from people who were there to see the Toronto films and the Toronto filmmakers and support them. So but it's also people who come out to sort of just see what's new and what's next, and to see what's sort of happening with younger filmmakers and what's possible, and to sort of get this a wild grab bag of films, which we really try to figure out some way to put them all together. But I think the energy of these screenings is remarkable. And I think the crowds are getting. Last year I was like, wow, we're getting good looking crowds here. This is amazing. we're getting young cool people showing up. I mean, everybody else too. We welcome it all, but I just was like, wow, we got much hipper people than me showing up to these things. That's great.
You know what I think it is? And you said it in the beginning of our interview, COVID, with all these filmmakers being locked up, it sounds like as soon as things were really opened up, all that built up energy just went pow, and it went to film. And that's what we're experiencing now. That's what happens when you lock people up. We get even better films because of it.
I believe so too. And I think it's really true, because I mean, we play a lot of emerging filmmakers, and they really are at this sort of point in their lives and their careers where they're just so eager to connect with each other and with audiences, and just to be really out in the world, kind of just sort of experiencing the festival thing for the first time or the second time, and there's a sort of resulting energy from that, which is, for me, I think, pretty addictive.
Well, it's addicted to us, my friend. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure speaking with
again.
you. Thank you so much for putting that to help put together another great session of films for us to get to see. And I'm almost assuming that you're already trying to get ready for next year.
I do need a little bit of a break, but of course I'm also like, I mean, TIFF has this incredible set of films I haven't seen yet, so I'm trying to get my work whatever I can into the schedule myself, and see lots of other features, because it's none of us get to see everything. You just gotta do your best.
Absolutely, I definitely will be seeing you at TIFF. Happy TIFF, and again, thank you so much for your great work.
Thanks again.